guys, it's Caleb back again with more Red Knot, and this time we have R.L. Stein Goosebumps. Be careful what you wish for. The caption says, "It might come true." And it's an okay cover. It's just, I don't know, I don't really see what's wishing about this. It's just like a crystal ball with some lightning coming out, some lady's fingers, and I think this is supposed to be an interpretation of a teenager, but there's something weird going on with her face. I'm not really sure what the artist was going for here, because the proportions are all wrong, and she doesn't really look like a teenager. To the back. Make a wish. Samantha Bird is a klutz. An accident waiting to happen. She's the laughing stock of the girls' basketball team. If you were, then how did you get on the basketball team? I would think they'd hold tryouts. And at that, mean, rotten Judith Bellwood is making her life miserable on and off the court. But everything's about to change. Sam's met someone who can grant her 3 wishes. For real. Too bad Sam wasn't careful about what she wished for, because her wishes are coming true, and they're turning her life into a living nightmare. Reader beware, you're in for a scare. Goosebumps. Also available from R.L. Stein, Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. Chapter 1. Judith Bellwood deliberately tripped me in math class. I saw her white sneakers shoot out into the aisle. Too late. I was carrying my notebook up to the chalkboard to put a problem on the board. My eyes were on the scrawls in my notebook. I'm not the neatest writer in the world. Who really is? Have you seen my handwriting? My mother was so upset about my handwriting that one time in elementary school she forced me to take it slow and easy so I could write to her, in her opinion, the best way I possibly could. And then when I went to school and tried to turn in my homework, the teacher's like, "No, you made your mom do this." And I'm like, "No, Mom made me write like this. This is my own homework that I did myself. My mom is kind of a douchebag, except I didn't call my mom a douchebag." And then the teachers had to actually talk to Mom and say, "No, stop that. Otherwise, we're not going to accept her homework, because she doesn't write like that. And we're not accepting homework that doesn't look like her handwriting." And so Mom quit it, because Mom's like, "Well, they weren't going to take it if I kept making you do it." And I'm like, "Well, I hated it, Mom, and it almost cost me that homework assignment. So get over your handwriting." And before I could stop, I saw the white sneakers shoot out. I tripped over it and went sprawling to the floor, landing hard on my elbows and knees. Of course, all the papers flew out of my notebook, because you don't have like a binder or a spiral one, and scattered everywhere. And the whole class thought it was a riot. Well, that's what you call going to school with douchebags. Everyone was laughing and cheering as I struggled to pull myself up. It's not really that hard. You get up on your hands and knees, and then you stand up. Judith and her pal, Anna Frost. I see what you did there, sir, and I'm not pleased. Laughed hardest of all. I landed on my funny bone, and the pain rebated up and down my whole body. As I climbed to my feet and then bent to pick up my notebooks, papers, I knew my face was as red as a tomato. "Nice move, Sam," Anna called, a big grin on her face. "Instant replay," someone else shouted. I glanced up to see a triumphant glow in Judith's green eyes. "I'm the tallest girl in my 7th grade class. No, correct that. I am the tallest kid in my 7th grade class. I'm at least 2 inches taller than my friend, Corey Blinn, and he's the tallest guy. I'm also the biggest klutz who ever stumbled over the face of the earth." Okay, look, I don't know how old you are in this book. However, this is when you are going from kid to woman. You're going to look and feel stupid because your body is changing. You're getting hips and tits now. It's going to be awkward. It's not great big thing. Everybody does it. Everybody feels stupid. Okay? Okay. I mean, just because I'm tall and slender doesn't mean I have to be graceful. And believe me, I'm not. I'm about to, stab people. I'm tall and slender, but I'm a klutz. Sailor fucking Moon, okay? Sailor Moon. But why is it such a riot when I stumble over a wastebasket or drop my tray in the lunchroom or trip over someone's foot in math class? Because kids are dicks. People are dicks, and they find enjoyment over someone else being dicks. Also, it's called going with everybody else so you don't get left out or called a weirdo. This happens to adults too. I forget the exact name of it, but hey, take a psychology class. You'll learn something about it. Judith and Anna are just cruel, that's all. Some people are, but maybe they're abused at home. Did you ever think about that? And so they think it's perfectly acceptable behavior because they get some kind of reward out of it and gratification. I could go into a whole damn psychological bullshit thing, but I'm not going to waste my time. This book sure isn't. I know they both call me Stork behind my back. Corey told me they do. Because, okay, look, just because dude is your friend doesn't mean friend is right. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Maybe he's just trying to start shit. I don't know. People do that. People tell lies. You called them, whatchamadoodle. No, I never did that. Yes, you did, and I know you would too, because you're an asshole. I'm like, look, just because I tripped you that one time doesn't mean I call you a fuckface behind your back. I mean, it's fully possible, but it's also fully not possible that they're doing this shit. I mean, just because the one dude says so doesn't mean it's true. Have you asked anybody else for their opinion about what these two idiots call you? No? Well, And Judith is always making fun of my name, which is Bird, Samantha Bird. Why don't you just fly? I added a word. Why don't you fly away, Bird? That's what she's always saying to me. Then she and Anna laugh as if it's the fun. Then she and Anna laugh as it. Goodness. Then she and Anna laugh as if it's the funniest joke they've ever heard. Okay. Give me a Red Bull and let me get some wings, and then I shall, because I don't want to have anything to do with you doucheholes anymore, and I will leave your environment and go find a better place to live and go to school. By the way, this is my right fist. It is now meeting your face. How to do, face? Why don't you fly away, Bird? Ha ha, big joke. You know, there are worse insults you can get in middle school than this. This is tame in comparison to what kids actually say to each other. In fact, kids wouldn't say this. I will tell you what they will say, because it was said to my face in middle school. I don't know you. What could I have possibly done for you to hate me and make fun of me and pick on me? I've never even met you before now. Their reply? Because you were born. That's why I hate you. And that's why everybody else hates you. Because you were born. I think I've said my piece on this. Corey says that Judith is just jealous of me, but that's stupid. I mean, why would Judith be jealous? She's not 9 feet tall. I doubt you're 9 feet tall. She's about 5'2". Perfect for a 12-year-old. No? Probably not. I don't think you reach your full height as a 12-year-old. Granted, it's been a while since I was forced to study puberty and shit, but I'm gonna say that's a little tall for a 12-year-old. Now, if you're more like 14 or something, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's probably about the height you're going to be for the rest of your life. But that's not... I don't get it. I don't understand. She's 5'2", perfect for a 12-year-old. She's graceful, she's athletic, and she's really pretty, with pale creamy skin, big green eyes, and wavy copper-colored hair down to her shoulders. Uh-huh. Okay, so how tall are you, actually? If you're supposedly the tallest person in school, aside from your best friend, who is the tallest dude. You haven't actually given me numbers. And I don't know what color your skin is, you haven't told me. I don't know what color your eyes are, because you haven't told me. And let's face it, wavy hair is not something you actually want, because that shit gets tatty. A lot. So what's to be jealous about? I think Corey is just trying to make me feel better, and doing a lousy job of it. How? How can he be doing a lousy job if he's giving you, as far as you know, his honest opinion? He says, hey, I think she's jealous of you. Ha! You're just trying to comfort me. How lousy. Are you a shit friend? Anyway, I gathered all my papers together and shoved them back into the notebook. Sharon asked if I was okay. Sharon is my teacher. Why would you call your teacher by her first name? I don't get this. Sharon is my teacher. We call all the teachers by their first names here at Montrose Middle School. Why? I don't think any school does that. And if you called a certain teacher by his first name, which was similar to a certain famous frog, he'd give you detention for it. He would not be a happy camper. I have never, ever been to a school, even in college, where I called a teacher by their first name. I might have known what their first name was, but you never call a teacher by their first name. It's just weird. I mean, I don't know if you'd get in trouble for that kind of thing, but it's weird. I muttered that I was fine, even though my elbow was throbbing like crazy. You know, it usually goes away pretty quickly, but it hurts like a bitch. So, I don't know, maybe you accidentally broke it or something? And I copied the problem onto the board. The chalk squeaked and everyone groaned and complained. I can't help it. I've never been able to write on the board without squeaking the chalk. It isn't such a big deal, is it? I don't know, you could be accidentally hitting it with your nails. Just saying. But of course, this is probably before whiteboards and smartboards, so. Well, I know it's before smartboards, but did they have, like, dry erase boards? Probably back in '93? I don't know. I didn't go to a school that used anything but chalkboards until I was in 5th grade, because then I was forced to change schools because of rezoning, which actually ended up being for the better, because I was still picked on, but there were more supportive teachers around me. I heard Judith whisper some crack about me to Anna. How can you hear that? You're in the front of the classroom. I wouldn't be able to hear jack all, unless somebody is actually saying it at room, you know, like I'm talking now. If I was, like, a few feet away from them doing shit on the board. But I couldn't hear what it was. Then how do you know it was about you? How would you know it's about you if you couldn't hear what they were saying? How do you know they were talking about you if you're writing shit on the board and your back is to them? Because you can't really hear them. You just said this. I glanced up from the problem to see the two of them snickering and smirking at me. How? You're facing the board. You're writing shit on the board. I don't understand. And wouldn't you know it, I couldn't solve the problem. I had something wrong with the equation, and I couldn't figure out what. That shit happens. Stuff happens. Sharon stepped up behind me, her skinny arms crossed over her ugly chartreuse sweater. She moved her lips as she read what I'd written, trying to see where I'd gone wrong, and of course Judith raised her hand and called out, I see the problem, Sharon. Bird can't add. 4 and 2 is 6, not 5. I could feel myself blushing again. Shit happens. You put numbers in the wrong place. Big whoop-de-doo. Yeah, that's embarrassing and you feel stupid, but it's also middle school, and it's going to feel 10 times worse when you fuck up, but, like, really. Big whoop-de-frickin-doo. I could feel myself blushing again. It's because you're too busy being worried about some jackasses over there. Forget them. You're going to probably do better awesome things than they are. They're shallowed assholes. Where would I be without Judith to point out my mistakes to the whole class? Everyone was laughing again. Even Sharon thought it was funny. Then she's a dick of a teacher. And I had to stand there and take it. Good old Samantha, the class klutz, the classic idiot. Does the school not... Well, probably not, and even if they did, they wouldn't enforce it. Anti-bullying policy. Because, shit like that should get you in trouble. This is where you take the hardback math book and you start beating the shit out of them until they get some fucking common sense in their head. Probably will happen after the second hit, where they're like, I won't do it again. Please don't hit me. And then probably a lawsuit by their parents, but then you hit the parents upside the head with the math book, and their parents are like, okay, I understand. Don't stop hitting me. My hand was shaking as I erased my stupid mistake and wrote the right numbers. I was so angry at Judith and at myself. Why? Those are not sentences. Those are not... I was so angry, period. At Judith, period. And at myself, period. I mean, there's making fragments to illustrate points. But this can be all one sentence. This can be at least 2 sentences. Even 2 paragraphs so that you can emphasize the, and I'm mad at myself, but we kind of can figure that out. So really, it should just be a sentence. But I kept it together as I walked, carefully, back to my seat. I didn't even glance at Judith as I walked past her. I kept it together until home ec class that afternoon. Then it got ugly. Do we really need, a couple of her classes explained to us? Why not just talk about, yeah, here you go, here's a chapter showing how this chick is a dumbass, how my whole life sucks, and then now it's after school, and now I'm gonna get meet this person who supposedly is going to give me these wishes. And then, 3rd chapter, well, okay, some more shit happens to where I get so fed up, let's use a wish. There you go! Why do I need another chapter about a class she's taken? Why? Chapter 2. Daphne is our teacher in home ec. I like Daphne. She is a big jolly woman with several chins and a great sense of humor. So, what, is she the Blob from X-Men? This huge, how huge are we talking? If she's several chins, she must be 500 pounds. Whatever. Sorry, I bumped the mic again. The rumor is that Daphne always makes us bake cakes and pies and brownies so that she can eat them all after we leave class. That's kind of mean, I think, but it's probably a little bit true. Well, wouldn't the class eat some of this shit? I imagine that they would like to, Also, I've never taken home ec. I never was interested in classes like that. Though, in retrospect, it probably would have been a good idea since I can't cook worth shit, and it would be nice to know how to sew shit. But, do you actually cook in home ec? Because I'm pretty sure you don't. I went into the home ec room a lot, because we also had math in there, but I never saw no damn stove or oven. So I'm pretty sure you did not cook. But anyway, we have home ec right after lunch, so we're never very hungry. Again, why are you cooking in home ec? Wouldn't they be teaching you other skills? Like sewing, or setting a table, or I don't know, how to do laundry or wash dishes. Stuff that you would actually need to know in case your parents are fucking idiots and don't teach you this shit. Most of what we make wouldn't make good dog food anyway, so it mostly gets left in the home ec room, because she wouldn't instruct you to throw it away if you didn't want it. I always look forward to the class, partly because Daphne is a fun teacher, and partly because it's one of the classes where there's no homework. The only bad thing about home ec class is that Judith is in it too. Judith and I had a little run-in in the lunchroom. I sat down at the far end of the table, as far away from her as I could get. Why did you sit at the same table as her anyway? Was it the only place to sit? Couldn't you, have gone outside? And, we could... Well, I don't remember if we could in middle school, but I know in high school, there were certain areas we could go to outside and actually have lunch outside if we wanted to. Or we can go to the library after we eat, if we didn't want to stay in the cafeteria. Again, I don't really remember if we could do anything like that in middle school. I think we had to stay in the cafeteria no matter what. But I still heard her telling a couple of 8th graders, Bird tried to fly in math class. Everyone laughed and stared at me. Are you guys in 8th grade? If you're 12, no, you'd be about 7th grade. And when you're 13, you'd be in 8th grade, and then when you're 14, you start high school. Everyone laughed and stared at me. You tripped me, Judith. Why, if you're sitting far away from her at the other side of the table, why are you going to start screaming at her in the middle of lunch what she did or didn't do? Flip her off and go to the bathroom and hide out there. Go ask a teacher if, hey, these people are dicks to me. Can I, come to your classroom or something? Special invitation, one person invite only. Have lunch in this classroom or something. Or with the teachers. Or something that isn't with these assholes that keep tripping me and making fun of me because they're fucking assholes. Also, do something to where these assholes actually get punished for being dicks. Otherwise, I'm gonna go punch a bitch. Because she deserves it, and that's the only way she's ever gonna fucking shut up, is if I put my fist in her mouth. Because that's how shit works when you're in high school, when you're in middle school, and when you're in elementary school. And you have to deal with these cutbags. Yes, I'm pissed about it. Because this means I have to actually think about shit I shouldn't have had to gone through when I was in school. And I'm starting to go off on a tirade, and I'm just gonna stop there and get back to the fucking story and probably bitch about this later. You tripped me, Judith, I shouted angrily. My mouth was full of egg salad, which... Why didn't you spit it out? Or put a napkin? Or instead just be like, I'm just gonna let her fucking talk because she's a dumbass. My mouth was full of egg salad, which dribbled down my chin when I shouted. And everyone laughed at me again. Judith said something which I couldn't hear over all the noise in the lunchroom. She smirked at me and tossed her red hair behind her shoulders. I started to get up and go over to her. I don't know what I was thinking of doing, but I was so angry I wasn't thinking too clearly. Just punch the fuck out of her. Punch the fuck out of all of these assholes. That's the only way you're gonna get shit done. Also, guys, if you're being bullied, don't actually go punch a bitch. I know you really, really want to, but don't actually go do it because you're the one who's going to get suspended. And then they're going to brag about how great they are because they got you suspended when they didn't do jack shit except piss you off. I don't know what I was thinking of doing, but I was so angry I wasn't thinking too clearly. Luckily, Corey appeared across the table. He dropped his lunch down on the table, turned the chair around backwards, the way he always does, and sat down. What's 4 plus 2? He teased. 42, I replied, rolling my eyes. Do you believe Judith? I asked bitterly. Of course I believe Judith, he said, pulling open his brown lunch bag. So, what, do you not have a proper cafeteria where you can get food? Did everybody bring their own? Judith is Judith. What's that supposed to mean? It's called a hamburger, honey. A hamburger is a hamburger. What more do you expect out of a hamburger? Even if I was 12 years old, I know what the fuck that means. Somebody tells me, Kelvin is Kelvin. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. You got a point. It's still fucking stupid, but I understand your point. Anybody would know what this phrase means. Unless you don't speak English and it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, or whatever the fuck language, and you've never been around people who speak English before to get this reference, to get what this saying means. He shrugged, a grin broke out across his face. I don't know. Corey is kind of cute. He has dark brown eyes that sort of crinkle up in the corners, a nose that's a little too long, and a funny crooked smile. He has great hair, but he never brushes it, so he gets teased about not brushing his hair, okay? So he never takes off his cap, which he wouldn't be allowed to wear at school while inside. It's an Orlando Magic cap, even though he doesn't know or care about the team. He just likes the cap. He peeked into his lunch bag and made a face. Again? I asked, wiping egg salad off the front of my t-shirt. Why did it fall down your t-shirt? You said it dribbled down your chin. With a napkin? Yeah, again, he replied glumly. He pulled out the same lunch his father packed for him every single morning, a grilled cheese sandwich and an orange. If that's the case, why not make your dad give you the money it costs to make that lunch that you don't want, because you eat it all the time, and just actually get something from the cafeteria? You know, they have full meals that they give you at the cafeteria, along with milk and orange juice. Why does your dad give you, why does your dad give you grilled cheese every day, I asked. Didn't you tell him it gets cold and slimy by lunchtime? I told him, Corey groaned, picking up one half of the sandwich in one hand and examining it as if it were some sort of science lab specimen. He said it's good protein. How can it be good protein if you throw it in the trash every day? I asked. Corey grinned his crooked grin. I didn't tell him that I throw it in the trash every day. No shit. He shoved the rubbery sandwich back into the bag and started to peel the orange. It's a good thing you came by, I said, swallowing the last bite of my egg salad sandwich. 'Cause, knowing he goes hungry, you wouldn't think to, maybe make him something to eat and give it to him every day. Or maybe if you got a little extra pocket money, tell him to run by, I don't know, a fast food restaurant and grab a hamburger or something. I mean, sure, it's gonna, be hard as fuck by the time your lunch comes, but at least it's not a grilled cheese sandwich. I was about to get up and go I read that right. I was about to get up and go murder Judith over there. We both glanced down the table. Judith and the two 8th graders had their chairs tilted back and were laughing about something. One of the 8th graders had a magazine, People magazine, I think, and she was showing a picture in it to the others. Don't murder Judith, Corey advised, still peeling the orange. You'll get into trouble. Well, no shit. I laughed, scornful laughter. You kidding? I'd get an award. If you murder Judith, your basketball team will never win another game, Corey said, concentrating on the orange. Oh, that's cruel, I exclaimed. I tossed my balled up aluminum foil at him, which you never said that you had or made. It bounced off his chest and dropped to the floor. He was right, of course. Judith was the best player on our team, the Montrose Mustangs. She was the only good player. She could dribble really well without getting the ball tangled up in her legs, and she had a great shooting eye. I, of course, was the worst player on the team. I admit it. I'm a total klutz, which you've stated before, and as I've said, which doesn't get you very far on the basketball court. I really hadn't wanted to be on the Mustangs. I knew I'd stink. But Ellen insisted. Ellen is the girls' basketball coach. Ellen insisted I'd be on the team. Which you just said. Why are you reiterating this? You don't need to say it a second time. Sam, you're so tall, she told me. You've got to play basketball. You're a natural. Sure, I'm a natural. A natural klutz. I can't shoot at all, not even foul shots, especially not foul shots. And I can't run without tripping over my own Reeboks, because we needed to know you have name brand shoes. And my hands are small, even though the rest of me isn't. So I'm not too good at passing or catching the ball. Have you ever played basketball before? How long have you been playing basketball? How long and how much have you been practicing? And just because a teacher insists doesn't mean you should. I think Ellen has learned her lesson, tall ain't all. But now she's too embarrassed to take me off the team. Why not say you quit and go do something else? And I keep at it. I work hard at practice. I keep thinking I'll get better. I couldn't get any worse. If only Judith wasn't such a hotshot. And if only she was nicer to me. But, as Corey put it, Judith is Judith. See, you fucking know this expression. So why were you being such an asshole about it earlier? What's that supposed to mean? Well, you fucking know what it's supposed to mean. So shut your fucking mouth. I'm so angry at the writing in this story. She's always yelling at me during practice and making fun of me and making me feel 2 feet tall, which I sometimes wish I were. Bird, why don't you give us a break and fly away? If she says that one more time, I'll punch out her lights. I really will. Go ahead and do it now. She's a fucking asshole. And then everybody who wants to start shit with you will know not to start shit with you, because you will fucking end them. What are you thinking about, Sam? Corey's voice broke through my bitter thoughts. About Judith, of course, I muttered. Miss Perfect. Hey, stop, he said, pulling apart the orange sections. You have good qualities, too, you know. Oh, really? I snapped. Because you snap at everything. You can't just be like, yeah, sure I do. No, you have to snap at everything, and be a dick about it. What are my good qualities? That I'm tall? No. He finally popped an orange section into his mouth. I never saw anyone take so long to eat an orange. Well, if he eats it every day, he's probably sick to death of an orange. You're also smart, he said, and you're funny. Thanks a bunch, I replied, frowning. And you're very generous, he added. You're so generous, you're going to give me that bag of potato chips, right? He pounced on it before I could grab it away from him. I knew there was a reason for his compliments. Because everything has to be conditional. I watched Corey stuff down my potato chips. He didn't even offer me one. Well, he's probably fucking starving if he's just ate an orange. And probably he's only ate an orange slice. So yeah, he's probably starving. Shut up. Then the bell rang and I hurried to home ec, where I totally lost it. What happened was this. Because I needed to know in detail. Because you couldn't just sum all this shit up in chapter 1. No, I needed 2 chapters about this shit. Showing me 3 scenarios. We were making tapioca pudding, and it was really messy. We all had big orange mixing bowls, and the ingredients were spread out on the long table next to the stove. I was busily stirring mine. It was nice and goopy, and it made this great glop glop sound as I stirred it with a long wooden spoon, because I needed to know it was wooden. My hands were sticky for some reason. I don't know, is the tapioca pudding sticky? Is any of the ingredients you were using sticky? Why is it for some reason? I had probably spilled some of the pudding on them, so I stopped to wipe them on my apron. I was being pretty neat. For me, there were only a few yellow puddles of pudding on my table. Most of it was actually in the mixing bowl. I finished stirring it. When I looked up, there was Judith. I was a little surprised because she had been working on the other side of the other side of the room by the windows. We generally keep as far apart from each other as possible. Judith had this odd smile on her face, and as she approached me, she was pretending to trip. See, this is the perfect opportunity to step the fuck out of the way while extending the bowl of pudding, so that she is the one who fucks up, not you. This is when you take the pudding and you just shove it right in her face and go, whoops, I was trying to catch you, but there was a bowl of pudding in my hands. So sorry. There you go. That's what you do. But of course you don't. And she spilled her whole oh, she has hers. Just dump it on her head. Just take yours and put her face in it. It's okay. You can say it was her fault. And she pulled her whole mixing bowl of tapioca on... Oh, and she spilled her whole mixing bowl of tapioca onto my shoes. My brand new blue Doc Martens. Is that a name brand? I take it that it is. But again, why are we name-dropping name brands? Are they paying for this shit? Oops, she said. That's all. Just oops. I looked down at my brand new shoes covered in gloopy yellow pudding. And that's when I lost it. I uttered an angry roar and went for Judith's throat. I didn't plan it or anything. I think it was temporary insanity. Yeah, it's usually what happens when you get very, very pissed. In fact, I'm going to be cheering you on, but I will break you up because, yeah, you don't actually want to hurt her. You might want to scare her so bad she pees her pants, but you don't want to actually hurt her. That would be bad. I just reached out with both hands and grabbed Judith by the throat and began to strangle her. I mean, they were brand new shoes. Not to mention, she's a fucking asshole. But the only reason I'm doing this is because they were new shoes. Because that makes sense. People do shit for less. Judith started struggling and tried to scream. She pulled my hair and tried to scratch me, but I held onto her throat and roared some more, like an angry tiger, and Daphne had to pull us apart. She pulled me away by the shoulders, then thrust her wide body between us, blocking our view of each other. I was panting loudly, and my chest was heaving up and down. Samantha, what were you doing? I think it was clear what she was doing. Why do you have to ask? I think that was Daphne. I think that's what Daphne was screaming. I couldn't really hear her. I had this roaring in my ears, loud as a waterfall. I think it was just my anger. Before I knew it, I had pushed myself away from the table and was running out the room. I ran out into the empty hall and stopped. I didn't know what to do next. Just go home. Just say, fuck it, I'm going home, and they're going to call my parents, and I'm going to be in trouble, but fuck that asshole. Fuck her. I didn't know what to do next. I was so angry. If I had 3 wishes, I told myself, I know what they would be. Destroy Judith, destroy Judith, destroy Judith. Little did I know that I would soon get my wish. All 3 of them. Chapter 3. Daphne made Judith and me shake hands and apologize to each other after she dragged me back into the... That would not fucking happen. You attacked another student. It doesn't matter what it's for. They'd have your ass in the principal's office calling your parents and sending you home. Probably followed by a lawsuit from her parents to you and your family because of what happened because, you know, she's a dick. And nobody knows how to actually deal with fucking bullies. And apologized to each other after she dragged me back to the classroom. Also, you tried to choke her. You tried to choke her to death. Dude, while I'm all for you kicking her ass, I'm not for you killing her. Daphne made Judith and me shake hands and apologize to each other after she dragged me back into the classroom. I had to do it. It was either that or be tossed out of school. A teacher doesn't get to make that kind of decision. The principal and school board do. I'm pretty sure there are such things even in 1993 as zero tolerance policies. Trying to kill another student and attacking them would be zero tolerance. Might even become a police matter. It really was an accident, Judith muttered under her breath. What's your problem, Bird? See, this is where you said, it was totally an accident, huh? Me attacking you wasn't. I don't care if I get in trouble for saying that. She's an asshole and been torturing me the entire time I've been in school. So, yeah, I'm gonna tell her to go fuck herself. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. I don't give a shit anymore. Not much of an apology, if you ask me. But I shook hands with her. I didn't need my parents being called to school because their daughter had tried to strangle a classmate. Actually, let this be a thing that happens. Because if your parents have no fucking clue what's happening to you, then they need to be told and shown that the abuse and being made fun of is so bad that you are now reacting in negative ways to cope with it, and that the teachers clearly don't care about this and are letting it happen and slide. Of course, that's what happens in schools. Nobody cares if you're bullied. Nobody knows how to properly deal with bullies. And nobody will. I'm sad to say it, but if you're bullied, you are on your fucking own. Because nobody cares. And people who do care don't know what to do. And I showed up reluctantly for basketball practice after school. I knew if I didn't show, Judith would tell everyone that she had scared me away. I showed up because I knew Judith didn't want me to, which I think is as good a reason as any. Also, I needed the exercise. I needed to run back and forth across the court a few hundred times to get the anger out. I decided to sweat out the frustration from not being able to finish strangling Judith. Okay, now see, this is healthy. I got pissed. I want to beat the shit out of her, but you know what? I can't do that. So let's just go and do something to waste a bunch of energy and time for an hour or so until I fucking calm down and I get a hold of myself. I mean, I have to be around this asshole, I have to be around her, but let's go do something else other than fucking killing her. See, this is when damn it dolls, like a damn it doll should be given to every student, and when they get pissed, they step away, and they go like into the bathroom or something, and then they shut the door and then you just hear loud cries of damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. And then you wait a few more seconds, the door opens, and the student comes back out, and you can magically see that they're relieved. In case you don't know what a damn it doll is, a damn it doll is basically a doll that you smack against shit, screaming damn it, until you get it out of you. That's all. Let's do some fast laps, Ellen suggested. Some of the other girls groaned, but I didn't. I started running before Ellen even blew her whistle. We were all in shorts and sleeveless t-shirts. Ellen wore gray sweats that were baggy in all the wrong places. Why are you admiring your teacher? You could just say it was unflattering. You don't have to say, whatever. She had fizzy red hair, and she was so straight and skinny, she looked sort of like a kitchen match. Straight as in tall, or straight as in her sexuality? I mean, we're probably not talking sexuality because this is a kid's book, but, seriously. Ellen wasn't very athletic. She told us she coached girls basketball because they paid her extra, and she needed the money. Because that's something you would tell your students. Just cause. After running our laps around the gym, practice was pretty much as usual. Judith and Anna passed the ball to each other a lot, and they both took a lot of shots, jump shots, layups, even hook shots. The others tried to keep up with them. I tried not to be noticed. I understand. more than people realize. I was still shimmering. Oh, shimmering? Yes, you're shimmering with your anger. I was still simmering about the tapioca pudding disaster and wanted as little contact with Judith or anyone as possible. I mean, I was feeling really glum. Then why don't you go talk to the teacher and be like, hey, I have this problem with what's-her-face over there, and I think before it escalates again that maybe I should leave. I was thinking maybe if I came to basketball, practice, I could relieve a lot of this upsetness, but it's not working, and I think it's best if I go, just go home, than stay here and possibly, beat her ass again. Okay, thanks, bye. I was really feeling glum. And watching Judith sink a 20-foot jumper, catch her own rebound, and scoop a perfect two-handed shovel pass to Anna wasn't helping to cheer me up one bit. Of course, things got worse. Anna actually passed the ball to me. Why would they do that? Why would they have anything to do with you? Really, again, coming from experience, I would imagine that they would be more likely to say they're passing the ball, but instead try to actually hit you in the face with it. Why? Because they're assholes. I muffed it. It bounced off my hands, hit me in the forehead, and rolled away. "Heads up, bird," I heard Ellen cry. I kept running. I tried not to look upset that I had blown my first opportunity of the practice. A few minutes later, I saw the ball flying towards me again, and I heard Judith shout, "Get this one, stork." I was so startled that she had called me stork to my face that I caught the ball. I started to dribble to the basket, and Anna reached a hand in and easily stole the ball. She spun around and sent an arching shot to the basket, which nearly went in. "Nice steal, Anna," Ellen cried. Breathing hard, I turned angrily to Judith. "What did you call me?" Judith pretended she didn't hear me. Ellen blew the whistle. "Fast breaks," she shouted. We practiced fast breaks 3 at a time. Dribbling fast, we passed the ball back and forth. Then the one under the hoop with the ball was supposed to take the shot. I needed to practice slow breaks, I thought to myself. I had no trouble keeping up with the others. I had the longest legs after all. I could run fast enough. I just couldn't do anything else while I was running. So you're just not coordinated to do multi-stuff. That's okay, not all of us are fit for multitasking. As Judith, Anna, and I came roaring down the court, I prayed I wouldn't make a total fool of myself. Sweat poured down my forehead. My heart was racing. I took a short pass from Anna, dribbled under the basket, and took a shot. The ball flew straight up in the air, then bounced back to the floor. It didn't even come close to the backboard. I could hear girls laughing on the sidelines. Judith and Anna had their usual superior smirks on their faces. "Good eye," Judith called. Everyone laughed some more. After 20 minutes of fast break torture, Ellen blew her whistle. "Scrimmage," she called out. That was the signal for us to divide into 2 teams and play each other. I sighed, wiping perspiration off my forehead with the back of my hand. I tried to get into the game. I concentrated hard, mainly on not messing up, but I was pretty discouraged. Then, a few minutes into the game, Judith and I both dove for the ball at the same time. Somehow, as I dove, my arms outstretched, Judith's knee came up hard and plunged like a knife into my chest. What an asshole! What a dick! What a fucking dick! What a fucking asshole! No, you stop. You punch the fuck out of this bitch now. You punch her a lot. Because she's a dick. Yeah, I wouldn't be okay with somebody choking me, but damn. Fucking damn, you tormented her like nobody's business. What the hell? Pain shot through my entire body. I tried to cry out, but I couldn't make a sound. I uttered a weird gasping noise, sort of like the honk of a sick seal, and realized I couldn't breathe. Everything turned red, bright, shimmering red, then black. I knew I was going to die. I hate this book. I hate this book because it brings up memories of childhood, of being tortured every single day, and having to be forced to bear it. So, no, I don't recommend this book to anybody, because it's just going to enrage them and upset them. Especially if they have to go through the shit I and others went through. Also, because it is unrealistic in the fact that this wouldn't have progressed to basketball practice. These girls one would have immediately went to the nurse's office, the other would have been sent to the principal. And if the police hadn't been brought in, their parents sure as hell would have been. And there would have been some questions asked. And hopefully, nothing would have been done about the bullying. And she would have just continued to suffer through it and then been punished for it. Whatever. Don't read this book. It's upsetting. I'm Caleb, and this has been Red Knot. Thank you for listening. Bye! And I hope you liked Goosebumps month.